So today is full moon, and in every full moon, we must imitate, because that's the invitation, the fullness of the moon. And the fullness of the moon comes with the invitation to really take a good look at where we are with that brightness in the middle of the darkness, and realize that yes, there are lows and highs, where the lows are the lessons to learn, and the highs are the integrations. But sometimes we get so caught up, and once we decide to take this path of consciousness to really expand ourselves, and in that expansion, in that process, sometimes we can get caught up in the teaching, in the lesson to be learned. And at a mental level, we can understand what the teachings are. It's actually very easy to understand them at a mental level. But the integration of these teachings is what can be a little tricky at times.
And the opportunity in this full moon, especially, is to more than let go of the things that we no longer want, is to integrate these lessons and make them part of our strength, part of a process to become. And to become what? Full like the moon, but also to empty ourselves of those things that no longer serve us, and continue without the hustle, without feeling that life has to be hard in order to make sense, or in order for us to be complete. Because being complete doesn't mean having to suffer to learn a lesson, but in the contrary, because in a previous video we mentioned every opportunity, every aspect in our lives is neutral. There is nothing that it's already predetermined as bad or good. There are highs and lows, but when we understand that the lows are teachings, and we start seeing these teachings as part of our strength, that's when the integration happens. We don't have to wait for the waves, because yes, energy flows, but when we walk on a straight line, regardless of the highs and lows, then they become one, and we no longer have to be so high or so low, but rather be in our center. That's what being in your center means. Regardless of the highs and lows, walk as a master, as a teacher.
And based on that, walking in a straight line, at least according to our own understanding, and to be practical, to give an example of it, is the judgment of the self. And that's where most of us get caught up, because we believe that we are defined by our past, by what we did, by what we said. And on the contrary, what defines us as beings, as humans, is who we are today, regardless of what has been. And sometimes it's hard to understand that concept, but once you understand it at a mental level, and you really have the intention to integrate it, it really comes down to really make peace with whatever we have done, and stop identifying with that, and to realize that only in the present moment, which I know it sounds something that we have all heard, we can find that freedom that we're looking for. And understanding that, like I said, what defines us is this moment, not yesterday, not a minute ago. It's this moment. It's what really, really matters. And it really sets you free, because it gives you this sense that, not that you don't have to say I'm sorry if you must, but once you have done that, just to realize that it comes down to accepting yourself, to accepting all the teachings that you have gone through in the past, and integrate yourself back to the present moment, and realize that this is really, really what defines us, this moment.
And the word of today, regardless whether it's a full moon, a new moon, it can be done every day. You can use this present moment to simply forgive yourself, because rather than forgiving others, we must forgive ourselves for what we perceive that we did to ourselves and to others, for what we said, the stories that we told to ourselves, the stories that we told others, how we judge ourselves, how we judge others. And once we are able to look at ourselves and say, I forgive you, I forgive myself for everything that I perceive that I have done wrong, then the integration starts. But we don't just forgive ourselves at a mental level. No, we create the emotion of forgiveness. We invite this teacher, this emotion, and we embrace it. We become forgiveness. And we, at an emotional level, we create this emotion, we become this emotion, and that's when all of a sudden you realize, well, I don't really have to forgive myself. I really have to accept everything that has been and embrace it and make peace. Because once we make peace with the past, then there's nothing to forgive, because you are at peace, and being at peace sort of washes everything off and sets you in motion to walk with that peace at every moment.
On that straight line. Also, a different perspective, inviting the teacher of self-judgment, of judgment itself, and also welcome its teachings for what they were and for what they are. And with all the honesty, you embrace that teacher, you invite him, and you kindly speak out loud, to me it works better, and say, I no longer need your teachings. I'm grateful for the time you've been on my path and all these lessons I have learned from you, but I break this contract right now from the bottom of my heart. And you open your heart and you can visualize whatever you want if that takes you there. The method is not important. What's important is the intention to really set in motion, like my brother says, this energy of stop judging ourselves. You can see it in the form of forgiving the self, or to stop judging the self, which is the same thing. It really is. So in this full moon, becoming whole like the moon, and that process of becoming whole has to do with being honest with where you are today. And if you really want to transcend any trauma, any discomfort, including physical pain, you must honor even the pain, where you are today. And that's, to me, today, and maybe tomorrow it will be different. The only way you can transcend something, accepting the now, and also understanding that, once again, you can only transcend something in the present moment, and accepting who you are and defining this person that you are for what is, not for what it was.
So hopefully this full moon, or whatever day you're watching this, you become full, because you are your full version today, and tomorrow you will be your full version, your fullest version, and at every moment you are your fullest, you are your highest potential. And if we live with that in our minds, in our heart, we're able to walk that straight lines like masters, like Jesus did, like Muhammad, like Buddha, like all these teachers that have walked the path on a straight line regardless of these waves. And when we learn to navigate through these ups and downs and see these lows as crucial moments for our evolution, I promise you'll never see yourself as a victim of the wave, of this current that sometimes it feels like is dragging us, and rather we are navigating through the process with ease, with comfort, with peace, with joy, with health, with confidence, knowing exactly where you're going, knowing where you're going, because we always know where we're going. Maybe we don't know it at a mental level, but our soul knows exactly the path, and it's a matter of focusing on this moment that's going to take us straight there. It's not focusing on what's going to happen or where we're going. We know where we're going. It's making this moment our most precious moment that takes us to that destination, which is every moment. Because at the end, we're not going anywhere. We're only going back. And we're going back where? Where we come from. Source.
To the heart. So that's the invitation today. Thank you for watching. Become whole. That's the invitation.
You are whole.
Trust the process.
Trust
yourself. But most importantly, trust yourself, because you are the process. We are the process. Trust the path, because you are the path. And no matter where you want to go,
you are there.
You're there.
Namaste.
Namaste.